everyone, today I'm going to show you how to wash a wig at home. I know a lot of people have concerns of how to take care of their wigs. Here I have with me one of our wigs from our Mona-mor collection wigs, which is a skin top wig, and I'm going to show you how to wash it carefully in order not to damage the cap of the wig or the scalp of the wig. It's just a regular wefted cap. Most wigs you could pretty much wash about the same exact direction unless the place or the company you purchased it from directs you a little bit differently. So the first step that we're going to start off with is, I always say, narrow down where your part of your wig is, which on this particular piece it's down in the middle. I tend to grab the wig by holding it with my thumb like this, and by doing that I prevent from my part moving. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable by just holding it. I recommend getting some kind of a clip or a bobby pin and just putting it in the scalp area. This way, no matter what you do, you'll never forget that it's there. So the first step is, what you want to do, if your wig has been worn and it's knotted, I recommend brushing it out first and then putting it under the water, because you don't want to get any water onto knotty hair, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to maintain it and try to brush it out later. So I would recommend just brushing out your wig. Normally you start at the nape of the neck, then you'll slightly go throughout the whole wig. Once you have your wig brushed out, I like to use lukewarm water, so hot enough to get the shampoo out, but not too hot that would shrink any part of the fabric of the wigs. I've noticed in the past that if the water is too hot, there's some certain wigs that have different fabrics inside, and what happens, the hot water shrinks the caps and then causes like air bubbles in the scalp. So if you've ever noticed that, that's probably what's happening. Okay, so now my water is warm enough. I'm gonna start with the scalp, and as you can see, I'm holding it down with my thumb. This way I don't move the part. So you wanna get the wig as wet as you can. I would wet the inside of the cap. Sometimes wigs are a little bit thicker, so it's harder for the water to get through this actual fabric inside. So if you need to wash the inside of the cap, you could easily do that. And over here, I'm just gonna soak out the water a little bit, turn off the sink, and get your shampoo. I don't recommend any particular shampoo. I mean, sulfate-free shampoos are pretty nice to use at home. We tend to use, honestly, different shampoos all the time, and things that smell good, things that are not too greasy to the wigs, because you don't want to put anything that is going to make your wig greasier over, wear within a couple days. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to take the shampoo, and notice how I'm not putting it on the scalp and I'm not putting it at the bottom. So it's pretty much in mid-length. And what I do here is I start scrubbing it, and I get it into the scalp as well. I get the shampoo through the scalp, I get it through all the bottom. And I normally say it's like washing a piece of clothing, how you would scrub it. You want to scrub it good enough that you get all the grease out from your daily wear. A lot of people ask me all the time, should I wash the inside of the wigs? And I don't think it's necessary for you to go directly inside, because as you noticed here, by me just lathering the outside of it, the shampoo is already coming through. I would just scrub it, run my hands through it, and then all you need to do is stick the wig under the sink. And notice how I'm washing it. I'm putting it under the sink, letting the water soak out all the shampoo, and then I'm going to pull the shampoo through. A lot of times there's shampoo at the bottom, so you want to make sure your end that you're drenching out is not sitting and soaking into the water. So again, I'm going to do that. And there's a lot of shampoo that is still coming out. So I would just keep repeating that until there's no more soap in your sink bowl. And if you feel like your wig is still dirty and doesn't feel clean enough, you feel more than welcome to shampoo it again. On anything that is a brand new wig, I don't recommend putting too much shampoo or conditioner, just because it still feels clean and it's still nice. So you don't want to overdo any products on it. As you start wearing your wigs kind of tend to get a little drier and dirtier faster. So then I would say like shampoo it twice, or if you've worn it for too long amount of time and you haven't shampooed it, then I would do that as well. So conditioner is a little bit more of my concern. Conditioner cannot ever go on the scalp of a wig. What happens is there's small knots. Every single hair on our wigs are sewn through the scalp and tied with a knot. The conditioner, what it does, it loosens up the knots. So what I would do is I would avoid it because I don't want to create any type of bald spot over time. It won't happen if it's happening once, if by accidentally you got conditioner on it. But if you do it over multiple times, you can cause your scalp to thin out. And then that's where like the big cost comes in of trying to repair something like that. So now I have my conditioner in. What I'm doing with the conditioner, I'm just running it through. Too much conditioner is never a good idea because they tend to stay in the wigs and then your wig is super oily and then it'll feel greasy afterwards too. And I'm just running my hands through it. So this is the best time I would recommend getting your paddle brush and brushing out the wig. So you will brush out the wig after you rinsed it out, but washing it out right when the conditioner is in it is the best time because that's the softest you're gonna get it. So at this time, I'm just going over the wig with my paddle brush. Make sure you get the neck and so forth. My part, as you can see, is still in the same exact place. I've been keeping my hand on it the whole time. When I brushed out my wig, I still kept my hand and I brushed out around my wig. I will never do this to a wig or any type of wig just because once I do that, I automatically have lost my part where it is. If you feel comfortable enough doing that because you'll know how to get it back to where it belongs, then go ahead and do it, that's fine. But if you're trying to avoid losing your scalp and where the part is supposed to be, then I would really avoid trying to brush that out because it doesn't tend to go back to where it's supposed to right away. Okay, so now I've brushed it out. I'm gonna get my water on again. Just slowly let the water run onto it and do as you would do with the shampoo as we did, was just run our hands through it and let all the conditioner come out. So conditioner is a little bit more important to me for it to come out thoroughly because conditioner is what could ruin your style afterwards your hair is dry. If there's too much conditioner in a wig, then the hair could feel very like greasy, which won't hold a curl, or even if you go straight, then it'll like clump up together. So I would pay way more attention to the conditioner part than I would to the shampoo. The shampoo is more of a lather, but the conditioner is what needs to come out because you'll eventually rinse out the shampoo once you're rinsing out the conditioner. So I would do my best to make sure there's no conditioner into it. Try to get your water to go as clear as you can when you're rinsing it out. Every time you wash your wigs, you'll probably see something different, and that's normally due to how much you're wearing it and how much you've touched your wig. So sometimes the water could be clear because you're washing it, closer than within a week or two, and sometimes you'll wash your wig after a month and it's like super dirty and you'll have to shampoo it twice and condition it twice just to get it out. So the question that everybody asks me all the time is how often should I wash my wig? I think with our mona-mor collection wigs, we tend to wash them about once a month. And again, it varies based on the person. I always say if you have more than one wig and you have multiple wigs that you're switching off throughout the days, then it's gonna take a lot longer for your wig needing to be washed because then it's not getting dirty as often. If you're wearing a wig every single day, then it's going to get dirty from the greases of your hand. It's gonna get dirty from the environment. So I would recommend washing something like that about every 3 weeks, and that's really pushing it because, I mean, realistically, what happens if you don't wash your wigs often enough, then they're just gonna get knottier, they're gonna get drier, and then by the time you decide to wash it, you're like tugging on the hair and ruining and damaging the wig. So I would recommend washing it more often than less. People are worried about washing their wigs too often because they're worried about it's gonna fall apart. I think everything will fall apart eventually, but in order to avoid washing it, you're going to ruin your wigs quicker by just pulling out hair, trying to get all the knots out and get the dirt out of your wigs. So I do recommend about every 3 weeks to a month washing your wig. Going back to the wash, at this point, the wig has been shampooed, has been conditioned. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rinse my paddle brush Because if you recall, I brushed my wig when it had the conditioner in it, and I put it to the side. So now I rinsed it out, so I made sure there's no conditioner in it. And now that my wig is washed and has conditioner already rinsed out of it, I'm going to give it another last brush. Once again, holding my hand right where the scalp is. And then I would just do another, pull the last drop through, and then grab your towel and just pat it dry into the towel. So that's for the washing. And then afterwards, what you're gonna do from here, based on your style that you're choosing, I normally say if someone has a curly wig and they wanna keep it curly, then you would rinse it out and shake it out and put it on a towel and let it air dry. And what happens by doing that, it's gonna push all the curls up into the scalp, and then you'll have more bouncy. If your wig is straight, then I would recommend just laying it out like this and letting it dry overnight. And then in the morning, your wig will be dried and you'll be able to go ahead and start styling it from scratch. As far as styling goes, I don't recommend blow drying a wig when it's soaking wet like this, because all you're doing is just tugging on the hair when you don't need to be. So I would give it a night before, wash it, let it air dry, and then start styling it. And for some people that have bangs or don't want to lay it down on a towel, you could just put it on a foam head, just like you would after your wig is styled, and just once again let it sit overnight and dry. So I hope everyone is happy and I've answered everyone's questions, and stay tuned for our next videos.